The rain hammered the gray streets of Whitechapel, turning the pavements into dark, reflective rivers under the orange streetlights. Inside their damp council flat on Brick Lane, 13-year-old Jamal Thompson watched his father, Leroy, stumble through the door with blood trickling from a split lip and sawdust stuck to his soaked jacket. It had happened at the timber yard off Commercial Road, where Leroy worked brutal shifts, unloading lorries for just over minimum wage. The owner, Victor Hargreaves, a slick, silver-haired man whose family had dominated East End timber and property for generations, had accused Leroy of nicking a single stack of mahogany. No proof, no chance to explain, just a loud shove into the racks in front of the crew. Then a sharp backhand that sent Leroy sprawling. "Thief," Hargreaves had bellowed. "Get out and don't come back." Leroy never talked about it. He just rinsed the blood in the kitchen sink, peeled off his wet clothes, and collapsed onto the sofa bed beside his wife and son. But Jamal saw the shame sink deep, the way his father's eyes stayed low, the way his broad shoulders hunched even when he was alone, the way he stopped playing the old reggae tunes he used to hum while making Sunday breakfast. That night Jamal lay awake on the narrow camp bed, fists clenched under the duvet. He whispered into the darkness, "I'll make him pay, Dad, I swear." Years passed, Jamal grew tall and silent. He studied under the fluorescent lights of the local library, earned a scholarship to UCL, then landed a junior data analyst job at a fintech firm in Canary Wharf. He sent money home every month, enough to clear the rent arrears, enough for his mother's blood pressure meds, enough so Leroy could finally stop chasing zero-hour contracts. But the old wound never scarred over. One evening Jamal's phone buzzed with a forwarded video from a cousin in Brixton. It showed Victor Hargreaves at a city livery dinner, laughing, raising a champagne flute. The caption, "Still the king of the East End. Who's gonna touch him?" Jamal replayed it 6 times. Each time Hargreaves' laugh hit like a fresh slap across his father's face. He started digging. Hargreaves' empire had swollen. Timber was now a footnote, property flips, council contracts, quiet kickbacks to planning officers, layers of grime under the gloss. Jamal worked nights tracing it, companies' house records, FOI responses, leaked emails from bitter subcontractors, planning anomalies that stank of favors. All public, all legal. He was meticulous, a shadow. But the rage simmered, never cooling. He began small. Anonymous threads on local Reddit and Facebook groups. Photos of stalled housing projects in Tower Hamlets, cracked foundations, missing cladding, schemes Hargreaves had won and then quietly starved. Comments built, "This is our money he's pocketing." Times someone called him out. Hargreaves noticed. A week later, Jamal's phone rang from a blocked number. "Jamal Thompson," the voice was smooth, mocking. "Your old man still flinches when he lifts anything heavier than a kettle, doesn't he?" Jamal's grip tightened until his knuckles ached. "I know what you're up to," Hargreaves said. "Playing Avenger on the internet. You think a few posts can hurt me. I've crushed bigger men than you." Jamal stayed quiet. "Here's the deal," Hargreaves continued, voice dropping to a taunt. "Come to the yard tomorrow at noon. Same spot your father hit the ground. Bring your balls. Let's see if you can say it to my face." The line went dead. Jamal stared at the phone. His mother was in the kitchen, stirring rice and peas. Leroy sat by the window, watching buses crawl past. Neither knew what their son had turned into. He went. The yard still smelled of wet timber and engine oil. Hargreaves waited by the loading bay, 2 men in high-vis jackets at his sides. He was heavier now, hair thinner, but the smirk was identical. "So," Hargreaves said, arms spread, "here to fix Daddy's humiliation." Jamal stepped forward. "I have everything," he said evenly. "Bank transfers, emails, statements from Forex workers. Enough for HMRC to open a file, the SFO to sniff around, maybe even the Met. You'd lose the contracts, the reputation, the house in Hampstead." Hargreaves laughed. "And you think they'll listen to a kid from the estates? I know people, boy, I own the right ones. I'm not going to the police." Jamal replied, "I'm going public. Live stream outside the Guildhall. Press release to The Guardian, The Standard, even the BBC. Every councillor and developer you've paid off, they'll see their names. Your world ends overnight." Hargreaves' smile cracked. "You wouldn't. You drag your family through the dirt. Everyone will remember your father was the one who took the hit and walked away." Jamal felt the fury surge, hot, blinding. He could finish it now. One message and the folder drops. Hargreaves would be ruined. The man who had broken Leroy Thompson would be nothing. But then he saw his father's face, not the broken man from that rainy day, but the quiet one who still pressed Jamal's shirts on Sunday nights, who never complained, who carried the shame so his son could stand taller. Jamal exhaled slowly. "I could destroy you," he said. "And for years I wanted to, but I won't." Hargreaves blinked. "One chance," Jamal continued. "Finish every project you've shorted. Fix the housing blocks. Fund the community centers you promised. And never speak my father's name again. If you don't, the files go live tonight." Hargreaves stared, hunting for weakness. He found steel. "You think you're better than me." He spat, but the venom had thinned. "No," Jamal said. "I'm just finished being angry." He turned and walked away through the rain. Behind him, Hargreaves shouted threats. Curses, but the words dissolved in the downpour. 3 months later, signs appeared across Tower Hamlets. Hargreaves' construction was funding free health clinics, completing the delayed estates, donating land for a youth center named after the workers who built this city. No announcement. Hargreaves simply faded from the local news. Jamal never told his parents what he'd done. He didn't need to. One Sunday, Leroy asked him to sit on the small balcony overlooking the street. They drank tea from mismatched mugs. Finally, Leroy spoke. "I carried shame for a long time." He said, "Thought I let you down." Jamal looked at his father, older, slower but with eyes that no longer dropped. "You never let me down, Dad," Jamal said. "You showed me the only thing that counts. How to stand up without turning into the man who knocked you down." Leroy reached over and gripped his son's shoulder. For the first time in years, he smiled without shadows. That night, Jamal deleted every file. The anger was gone, not forgiven, but released, replaced by something calmer, peace. He had taken his revenge the only way that didn't break him too. And in the end, that was enough.